I'm in this world and they made me a monster. And if you want to feature on your record, it'll cost ya. Seen so many men turn imposters and going sell they soul for some money and some sponsors.
What is going on, guys? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE, and I've always wanted to start my own Star Wars podcast. If you guys are coming over from my wrestling channel, you guys have known that one of the things that I do in life, and one of the things that I am more passionate about than wrestling, is Star Wars. And for months now, I've been figuring out how to do a Star Wars podcast. I didn't want to go it alone like the way I do wrestling, where I get a guest on every week. That's kind of a pain in the ass. It's a hassle. I can't do it by myself, and it just becomes too much. And I was in the grocery store, and something popped into my head. And the person that is going to be my host and going to be my co-host for the foreseeable future, this popped in my head. We were at a Camadon Music so many years ago. I believe I was 5, maybe 6 years old, 91 or 92, and we found something called the Star Wars customizable card game. And I said, what's Star Wars? I had no idea. I was 5 years old. Star Wars was past my time at that time already. And I got the look. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan and you've come across other people who are not Star Wars fans, you know this look because you go, you don't know what Star Wars is? And that sent me down a journey that I could never forget. That person is my dad. Pops. What's going on, Pops? I've already named you. You can't change that. You know that, right?
Oh, okay.
You are for now and forever Pops.
All right.
I'm setting your Twitter up as we speak.
Pops. Okay, that's new.
Well, what do you want? You want Pops or the old man?
No, Pops is fine.
Pops is good. Okay. Is it? I mean, it's surreal now because, you know, back in the day, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Camadon Music in the mall. It was just you and me.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Evan was born quite yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
For those of you who don't know, Evan is my brother, and I don't know if he was born yet. He was, geez, that feels like forever ago, does it not?
Yeah.
And now you have grandkids. You have 2 little grandkids running around. Yeah, Sophie, who's upstairs, and Jamie, who's not with us at the time. But that sent me down that path of loving Star Wars and never forgetting it. You had some good times. You remember things like Gen Con? We went to Gen Con. I bawled my eyes out because I sucked at Star Wars, the card game.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's an art.
Well, you know, and I was, when we were going to Gen Con, what was I, 9?
I think you were too young.
I mean, the average age of the Star Wars player, and you guys are going to hear me opening up my soda. We deal with it. But I was awful because, you know, the average age of your average Star Wars person there at the time was much older than me, at least double my age at that time. I mean, there was at least 20, 21. So I decided who better than the person who brought me into the Star Wars world to help me with this podcast for the time being.
Well, I appreciate that. I do.
You know what? It's going to be some good times, I really think. You know, we spent all those years during the customizable card game together, going to tournaments, going to Gen Con, all that kind of stuff.
Arcade comics.
Yep, Arcade Comics, which is right up the street from us.
Arcade Entertainment.
Yeah, whatever. He'll always be Scott's. Let's just put it
that's Scott's, all right.
As of that. So I figured nobody better than you.
Yeah, I appreciate it because I am a Star Wars freak.
Anybody who here is obviously probably a Star Wars fanatic. So I went through, I asked you guys for some questions online, and we'll get into those when we get into the mailbag. But I'm kind of looking at some things as of late on, say, such a Reddit and different type of, you know, avenues as to questions I've seen posed and things that the Star Wars community isn't overly happy about. So, number 1, do you know who Donald Glover is?
Yes, I do. I do. It was on Community.
Okay. Have you seen the new pictures of him? I'm going to put these up for you guys so you guys can see
I haven't seen anything related to this at this moment. So I have not seen, but I know a lot of people are thinking that he's going to be the young Lando. Right?
I would agree. The new pictures that have been posted, he's got the mustache going, and he has the hair very Billy D. Williams-like.
All right.
So as far as looks, he definitely looks the part.
Okay.
So right now we're sitting with Donald Glover and his mustache, just his mustache, as signs that he's going to be a young Lando. I don't know where they're going to plug him in.
And that'll be interesting. The new Han Solo.
Is Han getting his own movie? Has that been confirmed?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is where it's going to come into play.
Okay. Because I didn't know that movie was confirmed yet, if he was getting his own trilogy. Because as far as I knew, Obi-Wan was getting his own trilogy. But then when Ewan McGregor did his Twitter thing, he had said he had not heard anything from the studios as far as him getting his own, maybe not trilogy, but his own like kind of offshoot series.
That would be great if it was. He was awesome.
He was a good Obi-Wan.
He was. I really thought that they typecasted him perfectly.
Yes, he played it very, very well. I don't even know if it was a typecast. I think that's just how good of an actor this guy is.
Yeah,
he was a very, very good Obi-Wan. He fit the role from episode 1 to episode 3. Hopefully we'll see him again soon, but if you guys haven't seen it, you guys now have seen it. Donald Glover, probably your new Lando Calrissian, which would be really cool. I wonder what Billy D has to say about that. Because there's been rumors of Billy D coming on episode 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to happen. I just think that's gotta happen.
Gotta happen?
Yeah.
What role would he serve?
Well, I think it's just a tie-in, everything, and,
bundle it all together.
Yeah, and keep the old people happy.
Keep the old without if we went into episode 8 and you didn't see Luke, Han, and Leia, would you have been disappointed?
I never thought that would ever happen because I've seen interviews a long time ago with Mark Hamill regarding his talk with George Lucas, asking him, "Hey, would you ever consider doing an old Jedi type person in future sequels?" And he said, "Yeah, sure," from what I know. And the funny thing is it happened, but without George Lucas.
Right. And well, the big one, I think, the big question mark and all of that is there's no way you could have brought in Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher without bringing in Harrison Ford.
Yeah, as disappointed as I was that they killed off his character. Sorry, spoilers for people who didn't see it.
Everyone's seen Star Wars by now.
I know. But I'm just saying
Actually, hopefully everyone's seen Star Wars by now.
If you're a fan, you better have seen it. But anyways, I thought that, as sad as it was great seeing him in there and at least getting one more movie with him and his character.
Well, word on the street is he will be in episode 8 to some...
I heard something about that too, sort of like flashback
some form.
Scenes or
it
something?
could be a flashback. It could have been... if you think about it, we're still talking about rumors of Mace Windu possibly being alive. Why not?
You know
Han?
what? Who knows? They may throw a loop in him actually surviving it somehow, but because
Han's that hidden Jedi master of some sort.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But
I mean, we're
it's
talking
true.
Anything's possible, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. You've been keeping up on the Rogue One stuff, correct?
A little bit. I mean, I've seen the trailers, obviously, as everybody else has. And
right.
I've actually thoroughly enjoyed them. I'm really looking forward to the movie, being a prequel to A New Hope. But it looks great. Seeing Vader in there, too, is really awesome. And I'm interested to see how they're going to work this whole storyline.
What are your thoughts on Chirrut, the blind space monk? Force-sensitive space monk. It's been revealed, pictures have come out from the visual guide that he is a blind force-sensitive monk.
Interesting.
Because I'm calling this now, he is a Jedi, maybe not a Jedi.
Which one? There was somebody like that in the books, in the old books.
I don't remember. I only read a smattering of the books.
both or something like that.
Okay.
Was that him?
I don't know.
No,
you've read more of the books than I have.
That's funny. I think I remember, but
the word on the street, he's a blind force-sensitive monk. I'm saying he was some form of a Jedi. He's got some training in him, whether that he was a Padawan at some time, now in hiding. I mean, you've seen the cutscenes. This man's cracking down stormtroopers like it's no tomorrow by himself with a stick.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
With a stick, you know what I mean? He's got to be a Jedi, right? That's the only thing that really honestly makes sense.
I assume he's got.
Or he's some form of Jedi. Whether maybe this monk tribe he is a part of, maybe they don't consider themselves Jedi, but are somehow affiliated with the Jedi of old
and the Force. Yes.
And the Force, obviously. So we're kind of moving really quickly along here. Now, in this recent trailer, the international trailer that came out, we see a crystal given to Jin.
Okay.
Kyber crystal? What other crystals have we seen in Star Wars? Has there ever been another crystal that's been important?
I don't recall.
I don't remember any other crystals being of any sort of significance or importance in Star Wars. I mean, obviously the lightsaber crystals are the only ones that I know of that have been huge into the Star Wars system.
Right.
I mean, what other crystals have there been?
I can't recall.
No, right. Is this a lightsaber crystal? I think it is. I think Jin is force sensitive to somehow, because she hands her the necklace with this crystal and says, "Believe in the Force," in a time where the Force is supposed to be pretty much, well, not forgotten about, but it's fading.
Right.
You know,
right, because he is hunted down and destroyed.
He's in the process of hunting down and destroying the Jedi. I'm really wondering, you haven't watched any of the Rebels series, have you, on Cartoon Network?
Yeah, I have. I think I just only missed a couple of episodes.
Okay. Because obviously we still have Ezra and
right.
I always forget his name, Freddie Prinze Jr., because that's the voice that comes out of his mouth. But Vader has been very much obviously hunting these two down, because you have a master and an apprentice, and plus you still have Ahsoka running wild out there. At this time, anyways. I don't know. I'm not going to give anything away from the series, but he's hunting them down, and could we have another one being somewhat force sensitive? You know, we were led to believe in Empire that Luke and Leia were probably the only ones, and now we have Ezra and God, what is his name? Do you remember his name? Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah.
I just call him Freddie Prinze Jr.
That's terrible.
I know it's terrible, but I mean, like, I can't name his real Kanan. Kanan is his name.
There you go.
But every time I'm just like, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. I can't get away from that. I'm sorry. It just, the voice that comes out is I'm not saying he does a terrible job, but when you hear that voice, you're just like, hey, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. That's all I can think about, and I forget the guy's name, but obviously there's more Jedi. Yoda has contacted Ezra in the series. So, I mean, Yoda knows. Does that mean Ezra and Kanan die at some point, or they pass at some point?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Because Yoda in Dagobah on Dagobah says that no, there is another, but you know, Luke and Leia, you know, they're their only hope, or it was their only hope because Luke was the only one possibly strong enough, or Leia was possibly the only one strong enough to defeat Vader.
Right. As
we look at your 3-foot Vader. You have the coolest stuff down here. Eventually, we'll do this on
we'll have to,
on camera.
Yeah,
just this was a last minute thing, and
the man
you got a 3-foot Vader. That's a 3-footer, right?
I got a
3-foot Vader, 3-foot Kylo, right next to your giant Galactus over there.
Yeah, it's definitely a man cave, but on a nerdy feel to it.
Right. Well, nothing wrong with that, right?
That's right.
They've seen my man cave, or at least the back of my man cave, and there's definitely that nerdy feel to it.
That's why we're the Nerd Masters.
That's right. Rogue One will not have, or rumored to not have, a space crawl. For those of you because you asked me, what's a space crawl? And I almost was like, excuse me?
I knew what you were getting at, but I just wanted to make sure that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, Rogue, for those of you who don't know what the space crawl is, at the beginning of every Star Wars film, you have a brief synopsis of what's going on, 3-4 paragraphs long, that crawls across the stream, normally during some sort of space scene. I think there's only one movie that didn't have it during a space scene. But it's said to have none. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not torn.
I have to say I'm disappointed about it, and the only reason because it is
just
Star
tradition?
Wars. Yes, I think how do you break tradition with even if it is a standalone film, it's still related to the whole storyline, which every episode movie is. So for them to take that away, I am not too happy about it. Although if the movie turns out to be phenomenal, I'll probably let it pass.
As long as it's good,
exactly.
we'll let it slide.
I'll let it, if that's, maybe they're doing it for a reason. Maybe there's something more to it. Maybe there's that they don't want you to know the whole synopsis because
or
they
is
want
it
to set
because
it up.
we already know most of the synopsis?
You know what? That's a very good point. Because
I mean, we see Rebels. We know what's going on and how the Rebel Alliance is formed. Do we need 4 paragraphs telling us what Rebels is? But then again,
True.
how many people going to this movie maybe don't watch Rebels? Because, I mean, it is on the Disney Network. I mean, if you and I weren't giant Star Wars fans, would we be like, oh, Star Wars on the Disney Network, I'll watch this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Would
Right.
you really honestly watch it if you didn't know, if you weren't the big Star Wars fan that you were?
Yep.
So maybe that's it. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. No space crawl rumored in Rogue One. So we're going to get to the mailbag here. Don't touch the mic. We're going to get to the mail.
Sorry.
We're going to get into the mailbag
I was
here.
using the Force. Did you hear that?
I asked you guys for some questions for the inaugural podcast here. We're naming this the Nerd Strike Back, correct?
Yes.
We are the Master Nerds, and this is the Nerd Strike Back podcast. And I asked you guys for some questions, and you guys, well, you delivered. So I thank you for that, and here we go.
Mail time.
All right, guys, it is time for the mailbag. If you guys want to get in contact with us, Twitter is the best way. You guys can find me at @IAM_the WOOKIE. I haven't set up your Twitter yet. I'll set you up a Twitter. People want to contact you. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I have not delved into Twitter.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, well, being on Facebook, I do have Wingster
Facebook.
Games. Well,
We
just
can go on
saying,
Wingster Games,
that's
yes.
because I build custom gaming terrain, and
And
I build Star Wars
eventually we
ones.
will
Yes,
get
we
into
get
that
to
type of stuff. Inaugural podcast here. So I did ask you guys for some questions, and Toasties writes in. He has 5 questions. I said keep it to. He asked us 5, and actually he asked us another one later on, I believe. But he sent in 5 questions with a brief synopsis. It says, I took a particular liking to last year's The Force Awakens. I was left with more questions than answers, but in the end, though, of my excitement for several of the reveal of some of the questions I have has me pumped. A little bit of a conundrum there. I think we all left with more questions than answers.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, just think about, one of the questions I've always had for you is, how did you feel at the end of Empire, not knowing what happened? You know what I mean? All of a sudden you find out Darth Vader. I mean, this is something like I knew going
I'll
in.
never forget that on the screen when I saw it for the first time. When it happened, we were like, really? Wow. It just totally changed the whole dynamic of the film.
The game had changed.
Yes, it did.
So I think, you go back to like Empire. Oof.
Yeah, it was
I
the
couldn't
biggest
imagine
reveal of
having
all
to.
time.
And it was one of those things where you didn't know a movie was coming out next year.
Yeah.
How long was it between Empire and Jedi?
Yeah, a few years.
It was a few years. So think about that, kids.
Like 3, I think it
You're
was.
sitting here complaining not knowing who Rey's father is. He had to wait a few years just to find out what happened between Luke and Vader.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I would have gone bananas. I would have gone. You didn't even know if another movie was coming, really.
Right. I mean, we just knew it was Star Wars, so that was it.
Yep, and that could have been the end right there. George Lucas could have gone home with his cajillions of dollars because he was making money on toys, and just said, well, I think I'm good, and just gone home and never made another one. But luckily for us, he did. But let's get back into Toasty's questions. He says, do you believe the sequel trilogy will be considerably better than the prequel trilogy? I have to say yes.
Yeah.
Let's face it, kids.
Yeah,
the
let's
prequels
face
weren't
it.
that bad. I mean, they're not aside from Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace. I say that all the time. The Phantom Menace. That was, besides for the last 10 minutes, that movie wasn't that great.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When I saw it in theaters, I was pumped because Star Wars was coming back. But
yeah, the whole midichlorians thing killed me.
midichlorians and there we go,
again.
touching the mic.
No, it was the Force. I just used the Force.
Newbies, guys. But that killed it. But that end lightsaber scene does, I think, personally for me,
It's my Jedi dog.
yeah, the end lightsaber scene for me. I'm trying to find the words. I mean, it gave it some oomph.
Yeah,
It raised it up a touch.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a fantastic. We'd never seen a lightsaber scene like that before, so I think it gave it. But as far as the prequels, the new sequels being better than the prequels,
Yeah,
I think ultimately the answer is yes.
Yeah, I just think we were all been hungry for the Star Wars story to continue. And that was the thing I always wanted to see happen. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime, being the old man that I am.
Well, see, it's funny because we had both complained that it was when they killed the EU. We were both like, no, you can't kill Mara Jade. How dare you?
Yeah, as I read most of those books, and yes, I was kind of like, wow, really? You're going to get rid of all of that? But I understand, what they were doing, but they still left it open for possibilities of running in.
You know what? And they
characters.
gave nods to the books throughout the film. You know what I mean? They definitely gave little nods here and there to the books. So could we see a Mara Jade? It's possible.
You never know because of, who knows with Rey,
Right. Could Rey actually be Mara Jade? Wow, that'd be crazy. I never thought about that.
I think that's stretching it there. But,
Well,
I think more being the kid of Mara Jade.
And Luke.
Yeah.
Well, then what happened to Mara
I'm
Jade?
hoping that's where the story is going. I'm kind of hoping that's.
Well, I mean, they keep saying no, but you know what I mean. That you really would they say, oh, well, you guys hit it on the head. Good job.
Yeah, they're not going to say nothing
and walk away. No, I don't.
Well, that's
think
the whole
so.
thing. I don't want to know everything before the movie. I mean, I knew in Force Awakens, I knew some things that might happen, and I kind of assumed that they were going to kill off Han, but. Long story.
Well, we knew that because we knew Harrison Ford didn't want to be a part of another Star Wars film. So I'm sure in his contract was like, you're going to kill me off. That's end of the story. I'm Harrison Ford. I do what I want.
Yeah.
All right. He sends in, which character/characters are you most excited to see progress in the next two films? Obviously, Rey.
Rey. Come on, folks. We all know it, right, guys?
Yeah. It's got to be Rey.
It's got to be because the story was based around her.
Yep.
And really, we're all curious to find out what's going to happen with her. Obviously, you want to know everything else, but it's all going to be centered around her, obviously.
It's obviously Rey and Kylo, I think, are your correct two answers here.
Yeah.
I mean, who else do you want to see progress? You want to see what's going to happen with Kylo.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's curious.
I'm curious. I have to say, I did like Poe Dameron. I really liked his character.
I like Poe Dameron's character, too,
Yes.
but if they killed him off tomorrow, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think he's important.
Somehow, some way.
Well, look, I mean, the regular Star Wars had how many different people being involved as being like a family, and so he's kind of part of that family now, the new family.
Yeah. So Poe and Kylo, I would say for me, Kylo and Rey for me. Yeah. Poe, I don't.
Right.
Not that I don't care about the character, but he didn't give me any reason to care about the character. They split Luke into three characters instead of just squishing him into one. You have Poe, Rey, and Finn.
Very good point.
Yep.
Very good point.
This has been brought up multiple times.
Yes.
All right. Is Rey's relationship with Finn stronger than Finn's relationship with Poe, in your opinion? I'm not sure what relationship with Poe you're speaking of.
Well, there was a good, BFF type feeling with them guys. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. But I think Rey's relationship with Finn is more of a Force connection, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my feel.
Could be. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think Rey's connection, who knows, honestly, because now Rey is off on, what planet is Luke on? Did they name it? I know they named it.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
Me too.
But whatever. I'm sure Finn and Poe's relationship will get stronger because they're going to be now spending time together, and Rey is going to be off with, Luke, Jedi training. Okay, we have two. Does Kylo need to die?
Does Kylo need to die? Huh. The thing is if you're gonna go along with following, what the first trilogy came out with, and what happened with Vader being turned at the last time, and I could see them doing that, but I don't know if need would be the proper question, but I don't know.
Do you think he will die?
I'm kind of thinking,
or is he the new badass?
No, I don't.
No.
I just don't think he's not going to be the main bad guy. I just think there's more to this than we know and with
because not a ton was revealed in Episode 7.
no.
It's kind of crummy. Your favorite Force Awakens line? I don't know if I have a favorite Force Awakens lines. I mean, obviously Chewie, we're home.
Yeah, Chewie, we're home. I have to say is the one.
I mean, I heard a huge pop in the theater when Han said Chewie, we're home, and you're seeing Han Solo and Chewbacca on the Millennium Falcon for the first time.
I have to admit, I shed a tear.
Yeah,
there, and obviously when Han
passed.
Well, I'm not going to say passed. He got,
killed,
embedded with the lightsaber and fell.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that because you never know.
We'll cover Han Solo, I think, maybe next episode, because there's a big theory right now surrounding Han Solo and Ben Solo. Is Rey the chosen one?
I have to say, yeah. I just think because they just showed so much of her having a connection with the Force and her powers being what they were, I have to say that, to me, I would think she's going to be the one.
You know what? I'm going to write these down because we'll talk about Han Solo next weekend.
Okay.
Because I think he is a big part. Han Solo and Ben Solo. Oh, that's Bean Solo, but that's fine.
It's still
I'll figure it out at the end, and then we'll talk about Rey, the Chosen One, because I think both of those have theories around them right now that need to be explored a little bit. But thank you, Toasted, for your question.
Yes.
Reinharted writes into us. Well, he gives us a scenario. You know who Galen Merrick is, right?
Do I know who Galen is? Yes,
of course. Galen Merrick versus Anakin Skywalker. It takes place on Mustafar. Galen has all of his video game and comic book feats. Anakin has all of his feats from the cartoon and the Clone Wars and the movies. Cartoon Clone Wars, he put it in parentheses. Both are aware they are going to fight each other, but don't know each other and their skills. Who wins, Galen Merrick or Anakin Skywalker?
I'm sorry. I think Anakin.
I think Anakin wins this one, too.
Yeah. I mean,
I think somebody did a video on this. Somebody did a video on YouTube who put together Galen Merrick versus Anakin Skywalker. They all had their powers. I don't know if it was on Mustafar, but they run it through some type of simulator. I don't know what that is, whether they flip a coin or what. I don't know. But then Anakin came out pretty dominantly the winner on this one.
Yeah. So
I think he wins. All right. This one, I didn't write down a name for this one, so I apologize if this is your question. I did not write down your name. It says, are you excited as I am about the U-Wing in the upcoming Rogue One? It's such an awesome design. A Y-Wing meets an X-Wing, the Falcon, aspects of the Clone Wars gunship, Zam Wessel's speeders, snow speeders, etc. I saw somewhere they are trying to come up with the ultimate Star Wars ship in terms of design, memorability, function. What do you guys think?
It's cool. I mean, I definitely like seeing different stuff incorporated with the stuff that's been out there. But, guys, for me, it's all about the Falcon. The Falcon is the best. Well,
that's what I'm thinking here. Like, if you're looking to design a Star Wars ship in terms of design, memorability, and function,
right?
You already did that. You did that, 40 years ago in the Falcon?
Yes, that's my point.
Well, you don't need another ship. The U-Wing, does it look cool? Yes.
Sure.
Do I ultimately care about the U-Wing? No. Not at all.
It's about the Chewie and the Falcon. That's all I can say. That's it.
You made the most memorable ship you could ever make possible.
It's a good question.
And the Falcon. It is a good question, but am I excited for the U-Wing? I'm excited to see a new ship. As far as my favorite fighter in the Star Wars series of all time, it's the B-Wing. I think
the B-Wing was kind of my secret when it came out. When I saw that Return of the Jedi, I was like, wow, what a cool idea to be able to spin around like that and just be, it was great.
Yeah, it was a really cool looking ship. It's too bad we haven't seen more of it.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit of it here in Rebels. Not very much.
Right, a little bit.
I think it was maybe one episode. Mm-hmm. And then we got to see it in Jedi, and then we haven't seen it since. We didn't see it in episode 7. We didn't see an A-Wing in episode 7 either, or a Y-Wing. It was just X-Wings and TIE fighters. Was there any new TIE fighters in the new movie? I don't think so. Well, it was just all standard TIE fighters.
Well, in the new movie, though, they look standard, but there was some little different things about them.
The colors, the paint job.
Yeah, they just kind of, beefed them up a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to see a newly designed TIE fighter, which we're getting in the new movie. We're getting the TIE what was it called? It's not the Interceptor, but it looks like a TIE X-Wing. Do you remember what it's called? Scimitar. The TIE Scimitar.
Gotcha.
I believe is what it's called.
Yes, they had that in the card game, yes.
Yeah, and it's basically an X-Wing meets TIE Fighter. Or, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, another one coming from Toasted. I think the only thing interesting about Han Solo is Harrison Ford. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have been in Episode 7. I am likely missing something considering how many people like the character, so what is it?
Wow. You know
it's
what?
Han Solo.
Yeah,
I mean, he's your ultimate IDGAF guy.
Yeah, and he shot first. Okay, so let's just...
Well, I think that's it. You know, in a world where, you know...
Think about it. If you were going to, if there was an actual universe with this stuff going on, I mean...
He would be your
Han
ultimate
Solo,
cool guy.
Yeah, he had the humor, he had the style, the charisma. He was everything that you would want to be if you were in that universe, other than a Jedi, obviously.
I think, let's put it this way, since we're coming to a close here, and we're gonna wrap this one up quick. But ultimately, I think if you are a UFC fan, I could equate Han Solo to Conor McGregor. He is the ultimate, I don't care, I'm better than you, deal with it guy.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in that one?
No, I think you're right.
You know, even though he's not a Jedi, he still has
the attitude.
You know, and he's that James Dean character in Star Wars, pretty much. Anything else?
No,
that's the questions. Hey, if you guys want to send us your questions, send us into at @IAM_the_Wookie. I will get a Twitter set up for you and give you the password and all that jazz.
Joy.
You can have fun with that. I'm sure people will have questions for you.
Well, if I do, that would be wonderful.
And we'll figure this out. So I want to thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
To the inaugural version of The Nerd Strikes Back here on Master Nerds?
Nerd Masters
here on Nerd Masters. I'm gonna have to get used to that because I'm not used to having a second channel.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for you guys today. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, share it on your social medias.
Yeah.
It greatly helps us out. We have more for you to come as we get closer and closer. We're in November. We're only 4 weeks away.
Yes.
From Rogue One, so I'm sure as Rogue One comes out,
can't wait to talk about that one.
And we'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll get into other things as we go along here, and as we move on, we will get more and more in depth into maybe the man cave here. It is a cool man cave.
Yeah.
I'll have to give it to you.
Thank you. I've worked hard at it.
And not only that, guys, we got Rogue One, and I'm sure there's other. What's coming out? Did you see Doctor Strange?
Yes.
How was Doctor Strange? I have not seen it.
Well, I'll have to say I loved it.
Okay. But
3D,
you like all the Marvel movies.
You know what, though? Yes and no. There are some that are way better than others, and I have to say this one was done very well.
Okay.
And it totally tied in everything that's coming on. I will not say anything more.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get into Doctor Strange because I have not seen Doctor Strange yet.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get into more of that next week here on Nerd Masters. Guys, thank you so much.
You.
I'm going to give you guys a little soundbite of our sponsors, Audible, right now. You guys go over there. Go to audibletrial.com/the Wookie. Get your free 30-day book today. And I will talk to you guys later.